All right, there we go. Yes, good morning, Mana. Good evening to me, good morning to you, good afternoon for everyone in any other time zone. So, yeah, I'm a little late on this. I was supposed to do this yesterday. Um, but yeah, we got home really late. I was hoping to be back by like 11 p.m. ish so I could do this stream. We didn't end up actually walking into the door until like maybe 10 after midnight. And at that point, my brain was straight up like, hey man, you're tired. Just don't do it. So, waddled upstairs, flopped into bed, and here we are today. We're going to take a look at the Star Build Strike. I have zero doubt most of you have already taken a good old gander at it to see exactly what it offers. But I'm going to take a peek at it anyways. As it is a 7-star suit, I am only going to really look at an alteration to see what it added on. I should also note that I can't remember for the life of me what the original Star Build Strike actually had on it. So it's going to be interesting for me. I'm curious. All right, yeah. Let's use that DX ticket real quick. And let's throw the arms on there. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Alteration for Star Build Strike 7-star Technique Alternate Attribute. What a mouthful. Do we start with the animations? You know, I guess we will, but honestly, I'm just expecting a copy-paste of the original Star Build Strike. Yeah, but I guess let's check it, see what's there. Properties, hook into my web browser. All right. Let's see, is that Mr. Star Build Striker? Ah, oh, it is. All right, let's take a look. What are we getting? Hold up. The fuck? Ah, it's an awakening. Okay. What the heck was that? That's a dash, couple punches, okay. Simplistic enough, I guess. Okay, cool. Continuing on. So it's what, just prime and throw? Okay. Okay. Interesting. Good thing I did that. I don't remember any of those EX skills. Okay. Interesting, though. I do like that they're pretty much all really quick, so. Although I guess simultaneously it also means because there's no like 12, 13 second cutscene that there's no broken as crap cutscene skill in here. So, anyways, Star Build Strike Technique Attribute, the 7-star variant, head. I'm only going to be looking at the trait/EX skills on this. I'm not really going to be taking a look at the stats. As I always say, it's a 7-star, power creep each week. Chances are it's gonna be the better 7-star out of all of them, or next week it'll be outclassed by a new one. So numbers don't really matter. The points are made up and the numbers don't matter. All that really matters is the trait/EX skills. All right. So the head with rifle category equipped, super easy to do. Tons of rifles in this game. Brain dead tier. Melee power boosted by 40%. Okay, that's a healthy boost. Although I find it weird considering most of its EX skills looked a little more on the Rudy Tooty point and shooty side, but man, what do I know? While high firepower, initial EX skill charge boosted by 25%. Okay. High firepower does work for both melee and shot builds, so that does feed well into the first trait. Alright, initial EX skill cooldown and melee power boost. Highest mods for both. Alright. Cool stuff. Torso. When melee defense is over 10,000, which is really easy to do, mind you. That's more of a rounding error, I think, once you get up to higher levels. Enemy all power reduced by 35%. Wah. All right, that is really terrifying. That is wow. If you manage to find 2 more parts that had this trait, that's a lot of damage, or rather, that's a lot of not damage. Damn. And while pro tag, EX skill cooldown reduced by 23%. So, not only do you make them hit a significant chunk weaker, you know, like you chunk off a whole third of their offensive abilities, EX skill cooldowns are also reduced by almost a quarter. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Arms. RG, double build, Knuckles. D Pierce, A power, and that's I guess the first one I was looking at. I was a little confused where he got the green pyramid triangle thing he's on his fist and punched with. The A power D Pierce on paper looks really good, has a very low cooldown as well. The animation was a little on the shorter range side. Oh, excuse me. It did seem relatively simple to whiff, so mileage may vary. Looks decent. Legs. Star funnels. And, okay, A power, D pierce, even lower cooldown than the previous. Form discharge of particles, bits, and attack. And I guess that was the other one where it creates like the circle in front of it, builds the little attack thing, and then just throws it forward really quickly. I found it interesting because it looks like it could almost be a ranged melee skill, a yeet, but I also can't remember if it is or not, and the little Twitter video that they showed really didn't have a lot of deets on that because it was used at effectively point-blank range. But I do see people saying it is a yeet, so cool. An A power yeet on a significantly low cooldown. Good stuff. Good stuff. Backpack. I'm assuming that's the big beam. Yep, Star Beam Cannon. Raise your speed by 20%. A minus power, D pierce. Minute cooldown, 15 seconds base. To be expected, it's a very long, sustained beam of pure red pain. And it has a little flashy thing that it does to your suit as a bonus. Very neat. Very shiny toy. I'm just a little sad, you know, that it's not the S power skill of the suit, considering, but I guess we don't need another backpack with an S power skill, so sure. For what it is, pretty good. The beam Saber. While high firepower, very easy to do. You know, it's on most of the parts in the game, let's be real. EX skill power boosted by 40%. Solid. After 5 seconds pass, EX skill power boosted by 40%. Alright, I can honestly say I'm a fan of this. An 80% EX skill power boost as long as 5 seconds has passed and you have high firepower. It is a build agnostic part. It works on melee, works on shot, as the only requirement on this is a tag that is also build agnostic. High firepower. The 5-second initial may scare some absolutely extreme and deranged users off who believe 5 seconds is too long. But you know what? 5 seconds I think is enough, because that can be the duration of most general lock-scened skills. You know, even like Rolling Buster is like 3 seconds or whatever, pure animation, right? So 5 seconds, okay, you know what? Yeah. All right. The gun. Discharge System. Fill your rifle and fire a big beam. A pierce, A minus power, and medium cooldown. Okay. I don't really have a lot to say about this. Boasting A pierce and A minus power means it will hit very, very hard, and there's not a ton you can do to stop that. Yeah. Cool. If it was on a shorter cooldown, it'd be even better, obviously. As it is, though, okay. I don't know, like, it'll hit really, really, really hard. I don't know if it's gonna hit like a truck, though. Maybe it'll hit like an RV. I'm not sure about an 18-wheeler, you know? But it'll hurt. And lastly, the shield. Absorb shield. Mitigate damage from beam attacks. Raise your beam resist by 109%. Clear all debuffs. And your shock cooldowns instantly go down 53%. What? So it has an active time of 1 second. So you literally use this skill, and a second later, all of your shock cooldowns are over 50% off CD. What the fuck? Okay. Sure, whatever, yep. Totally understandable. I get you, Bandai. Don't worry, man. We all friends around these parts. I get you. I feel you. Oh, I don't have enough tequila for this. Okay. Okay. Yep. More power creep. Does what we needed, boys. Yeah, honestly, when I saw its animation in the game, I was expecting it to be like a small window counter of sorts. So, like, the enemy is shooting at you with something, you pop the shield, and if a ranged attack hits you during it, I don't know, maybe you dash to the side and do a quick counter shot at the enemy that does insane damage or something as kind of a, haha, gotcha, don't use Shoddy X. But instead, we get this, where as long as the enemy gives you even a single second, you just go, you know, haha, do a JoJo pose, and all of a sudden all your cooldowns are gone, and you just go Axis Drop, Rolling Buster, and whatever the hell else you want to throw at them. It's interesting. It's definitely not the first of its kind. It's the first of the shot variety up to this point. We've had the melee cooldown reductions. I can't wait until we get to the generalized all skill cooldowns are down, 95% or something, because that's the only logical climax this gets to, considering. Yeah, if you're using a melee machine, you want to look at the couple past suits we've had that have had the cooldown reducers. If you're using a shot machine, you want this shield. It takes a relatively unused slot to give you the dope stuff. I wish that was vodka. Okay. I'm really curious. What are the stats on this fully kitted out? Just to humor me. Okay. Okay. So, about 9,200 shot attack. Okay. Okay. Looking at what, 9,700 melee attack, right? Okay. Tons of resist, no armor. So there's the demerit, that the single demerit for this part is the no armor. Is what it is, boys. It is extremely powerful, statted to heck. I kind of need this on my main account now. but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. Because I can already feel that they're going to give us a new Freedom variant sometime in the future. And whether it's the Strike Freedom or whatever, or some box kit only variant of the Freedom, and it's going to have a skill where you use it 100% CDR on all shot skills instantly kind of crap, you know? I'm just gonna wait. Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's the new Star Build Strike in a nutshell. It's very good. It's got a more or less required skill for shot machines. It removes the need to have a 100% CDR build, as it does over 50% of it on its own. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, it is what it is. Now, since we've taken a gander at the pain and suffering, let's roll on over to the actual new account progress. Not much has been accomplished since the stream I did on Tuesday. I've been out and about. As you guys all saw during that stream, I did kind of look towards polishing the suit a little more. It's kind of my goal. Beyond that, there's really not much else to say. The month is almost over for this little experiment to see how much a new player can progress. And from what I've learned, there's very little in terms of bottlenecks. The most difficult thing I think for a brand new account really boils down to being able to get your hands on a good pilot. That can be difficult to do. Beyond that, being able to pass by the couple of hurdles in the story mission, which there's very few, very, very few of these hurdles, but they still require a decent amount of offensive capabilities on your machine. With that in mind, I think the new players just have to know how to leverage their materials to get 6-star parts, so they can backslot and really take advantage of 3 word tags, take advantage of traits, perhaps even learn the custom skin system so that they can take advantage of creating a suit of all traits, and then just have their EX skills on the skin. I can see the skin confusing a lot of users, especially the new ones. I know that when it launched originally, we were all not really understanding what we were looking at exactly. But once you master it, it's a very convenient system. Very handy. But yeah, in terms of general progress, we're pretty much looking at story progression is not an issue. Free mission progress really isn't an issue either. The hardest part of free missions is just making sure you bring the right machine for the fight so that you can meet the requirements. Clear with a power machine, clear with a speed machine, guard twice, EX skill 3 times, or whatever, right? You just got to make sure you can meet those criteria and you're golden on there for the rather large majority of it. And as for events, it seems the cap to clear the extreme difficulty missions on these events is sitting around 40 to 50k or so. Once you get past those numbers, you can more or less brute force your way through the missions, if you don't just, invite a friend and have them carry you through it. And that's achievable, of course, very achievable, especially more so now with the 7-star parts. Actually, if we go take a look at my suit and take a look at what these 7-star parts are doing for my build, right, and these aren't even optimized, for example. These are still running 3 gold marks at level 90, not even, no extra levels on the traits or anything. And you can see here, this part alone is bringing over 12,000 melee to my suit. If a new player started and rolled the gacha on a 7-star banner and managed to build the entire 7-star suit and somehow got the materials to uncap it all and got an entire 7-star machine, they would be a force to be reckoned with. They could easily push up to 70, 80k, and with that, you could, I think, actually clear all current story content, and you'd obviously have no real issues in any event to get to the extreme difficulty and farm that for more materials. So, I think when I I've played this, I kind of realized that, yeah, new players are definitely benefiting from all of these back-to-back banners. Oh boy, are they ever. The gorgeous challenge is actually a bug. You know what? This is kind of one of those scenarios where I say before they fix the bug and push it out, what they should do is take a snapshot of everyone that's cleared it and give them a special title or something. Because honestly, if you clear a mission that's bugged to be excessively difficult and it's been like, what, a week or something? I feel like you do deserve kind of like that badge of honor to sit there and go, oh yeah, I beat that when it was difficult before it got fixed and, you know, the bug was solved. But if it's a bug that made it easier, no. But, yeah, well, hey, you know what? It's good that they are fixing it, if it is a bug. Are you sure it's not just, oh yeah, it's a bug. The 1% clear rate's definitely not intended. You need lots of boost and pierce traits. I'm not that surprised. The challenge is very interesting. But anyways, as I was saying, really what it boils down to with me playing this brand new account, seeing what's offered, and just getting into the shoes of someone brand new to the game, granted having a lot of knowledge on how certain systems work. If you played this game for a month or two, definitely more towards the end of the second month, you could probably have 2 kitted out machines. Like, look at this. I'm already sitting at, what, almost 1.6 million C power? And that's with one part not even 6-starred, right? And obviously this isn't a min-max suit. The back-slotted pieces are really just hodgepodged in there to make the tags fit. Or get a trait where I needed it. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think this is a very good representation of a normal new player's kind of suit, what they would do with it. You don't have the best. You have some pretty good stuff. On that note, actually, I noticed some of my parts aren't even fully maxed up. We'll just fix that really quick. I wonder what happened there. Probably ran out of nippers. There we go. And that'll probably push me to 1.6. Yeah, 1.6 mil. I'd like to have all the information needed to try and clear instead of it being hidden. The thing is, though, hidden is kind of half the battle. That's what made those challenges, I can't remember whose missions they were, but we pretty much had to go off the title of the mission to figure out exactly what was going on. Granted, those weren't bugged, so it was pretty easy to troubleshoot, see what did damage, see what didn't do damage, and decide, oh, okay, you know, this will work, and you go for it. But I think that like little bit of puzzle solving, I think is a good idea to keep, because it kind of loses a lot of the fun if they just on a silver platter go, ah yes, here's a challenge mission, and you counter it by doing this. It's like, that's not fun, right? That's just like, oh, okay, cool, I'll just pack it all in and go. You don't have to take your face, slam it against it a few times to figure out what you're doing, challenge it, and, you know, theory craft or anything. If it just goes, oh yeah, bring lots of pierce resist, or, you know, piercing stuff. Oh, look at this, all of their traits are damage down, so you should probably think of a way to counter that. No, it's, you know, figure it out. I personally think that's kind of half the fun of these puzzle type missions. If they just gave you the answer all the time, it goes from, you know, write a 3-paragraph answer to the question where you freeform it to multiple choice. What build is the best for this? And you just go, oh, yeah, you know, seize the answer for this one. You just steamroll it, right? I have about the same stats of you, 5-7 stars, AZ, around 3 million C power. Yeah, C power is a very interesting number. After a while, it really stops meaning anything. And I have seen people clear content with C power significantly below what's required. And I've also seen them lose with C power significantly over what was required. It's definitely more of a guidepost to get a general idea of where your build sits, like 1.6 million C power. What does that mean to me? It means I probably have a relatively decent primary stat. I may have a okay substat. That's all it really means to me. Beyond that, you know, maybe there's someone that focused purely on defense. I don't know. But you're not really going to see the crazy, 2.7, 2.8, 3.5 million builds or higher until you get into the super extreme builds. And that's where you can kind of make the judgment of, okay, that's serious business, because those numbers are from people really sweaty min-maxing stuff at that point. The Inferno Challenges weren't even this bad. Yeah, but at the same time, when the Inferno Challenges were released, we didn't have access to all of the tools we currently do, right? When the Inferno Challenges were originally given to us, we pretty much had a hammer and a saw to figure it out. But now we have, orbital lasers. The problem needs to be kind of built up a little bit to meet the requirements of what they're fighting against, right? Like, if they just threw another batch of effectively Inferno missions where it's just a really beefy boss against us, it doesn't matter. People are just going to go, oh ho, bisect, 17 billion damage. Ho ho, bisect, 17 million damage. Ho ho, bisect, ho bisect. And that's it. There's the fight. That's not even a challenge anymore. So they have to add in these super ridiculous gimmicks, whatever they may be. Otherwise, it's just... yeah. Yeah, man. Like, that's the thing, right? The game is very friendly to new players, and 90% of the content is going to be really, really comfortable for newer players to pick up and go with. I've got a ton of gacha rolls on this from doing not very little story. Some of the story. I've done probably about maybe just over or under half of the story. I can't remember how many. I think we're at like chapter 24 or something now, or 28. Honestly, we're at so many story chapters now, I can't remember where we're at. But like, you don't need a lot to actually build a decent suit. I think the most difficult thing here, in terms of like getting what I want, is obviously I'm a new player. I don't have a fleet of 4-star pick tickets to use. I don't have a ton of AI tickets to use. I don't have the resources to immediately 6-star new parts and make them combat effective. So we're not even in the 20s yet for the stories. Yeah, see, that's what I mean, right? Is there comes a point where I just kind of too much going on in the head and I completely forget. I'm on what, like chapter 12 or something now, 13? Yeah, I'm on chapter 14 already, right? And that's majority of your horror comes from the story missions and the free missions for this. And if you're able to, I think, yeah, I should probably be able to clear the rest of the story with my... Actually, while we're talking, I may as well get the AI going through the rest of the story missions for me. Ugh. I got 201k shot, and I can't believe my C power is almost 5 million. Yeah, it's... And the other thing is, right, like... So, if I'm someone, like, brand new to the game, right, and I've never played this game before, I've never seen any content about it, maybe I'm not even a Gundam fan, but I decided to pick it up because my friends are playing it, right? You're going to see people with, like, these 150k, 160k power builds, primary stat builds, and they're going to be like, whoa, my numbers, I'm like 40k, I'm nowhere near this, how do I get up to those numbers? It's like, see, that's the funny part. You don't have to. That is optional. As soon as you hit about 65, 70k, you're pretty much set for the game. Like, the only thing you really have to worry about at that point is min-maxing for stuff like Arena, if you really care. Potentially multi-missions, again, if you really care. But as was said earlier, right, it's really just a flex. You don't need all these stats. And that's why I find it really weird, like, with these 7 stars coming out and the crazy numbers that they give us by default. It's like, it's so unnecessary, because there's just nothing to use all this strength on, right? We still don't have an unlimited wave mode. We still don't have like a scaling difficulty or anything to throw ourselves at to test. All right, battle circuits pretty much remain the same. Once, and especially now with its, oh, you get to use your parts extra amounts of times based on their part level, right? Like, cool. But it just means now that people can, very quickly do battle circuit because they only need to build 3 machines for it that are, suited for generalized use. But, yeah, my account, not so much, because I don't have very many parts that are like that. If I had done friend point style, like what Mana did, where I made all of my suits using the friend point gacha, or not horror required, probably could have done that a little sooner. But I've just focused on gacha, single suit, and just trying to gather horror for more gacha rolls. So... with 100k primary, you can clear all content. I don't think you even need 100k primary. Like, maybe for 1 or 2 of the challenge missions if you want to brute force them. But I think that's, like, overkill. I honestly think having 100k primary stat is way too much. It's just not necessary. Yeah. Because if I decide to continue playing this game for another... or this account, for another month, I would effectively work on a shot machine, because now I have a relatively okay melee machine, and I'd work on the shot, and as I'm working on the shot, I'd get materials and stuff to continue polishing up the melee suit. But, like, throwing darts into the dark here, I reckon it would probably only take like 3 months to get, like, pretty much a month per suit. And you'd have 3 very powerful suits to plow through most, if not all, content in this game that's not, PvP. I'm not saying it's not attainable, Christian. I'm just saying it's not as attainable. Well, what's the best way to put it? It's not as easily attainable as I thought it would be, but it's also not as difficult as I thought it would be if worst came to worst. Yeah. John, please continue to play this at least once a week. I'll consider it. So you got to understand, right, John? I am a huge advocate of no alting. And the primary reason for that is every game without fail, where I have friends that play 3, 4, 5 accounts because they love the game to death and they just want to play the game, so they make a bunch of accounts on it, right? They'll always have their main account. And their main account's the one they potentially spend money on. It's the one that they spend most of their time playing. And the other accounts are there for, the main account's out of whatever the main resource is to play the game. Stamina, energy, whatever. Maybe the alt account got really lucky or something from an event and got extra gacha rolls and they're having some fun with it. Who knows? Anyways, what it boils down to is the age-old saying, you can't spell salt without alt. And I always see them, without fail, complaining that their alt had better luck than their main. Why do I even bother with this game? My main account's luck is crap. Look at what my alt got. All this stuff. And that's why I've never told people to play alts on games. I'm always like, just play one account on the game and just focus on that. Because the second you start playing multiple accounts, you're gonna run into the same issue. And if you're okay with that, hey, you know what? I assume you're old enough to make your own choices at this point. It's a you problem. But myself, once this month is over and I've kind of dipped my feet into the new player experience a little bit and kind of gotten a better perspective of what it's like starting a brand new account and the difficulties associated with a regular player that doesn't go for a very specific challenge configuration. It's like, I'm not doing a Nuzlocke style run or anything. I'm just starting a new game and trying it. I think I've had enough of the alt, especially after that roll I did with the ticket where I got the Kshatriya arms for free. That's exactly what I mean. Can't spell salt without alt. I remember how many horror chips I used on my original account, how much money I sunk into the game to try to get that final part for the quad, only for it to finally come after 90,000 horror, whereas my alt was just, yeehaw, free ticket, ho ho, I got it! It was really a case in point moment. Yeah, no, and I'm glad you guys come by and watch, and I'm glad that you guys do find them enjoyable. It's just, I don't know how many of you guys have been here since, like, way back when I started doing content for this game. But it was really, I enjoy the game, and I do want to do streams and video content where I'm doing stuff I want to do, games I want to play, and things I want to share with people, right? That's why I do, you know, the weekly streams for this. That's why I do, you know, the other content streams for other stuff. It's, you know, I really want to play this or that, and I feel like sharing with you guys and doing that. When it comes to doing an alt account for a game like this, or really any game, honestly, that's not something I personally enjoy doing, I guess. And as much as you guys do find it super enjoyable to watch, and I'm really glad for that, I do this for kind of like stuff I want to do, right? It's if I'm not having fun doing it, I don't feel like I'll be able to give you guys a good experience while you're hanging out and talking and stuff. Because if I'm just sitting here looking bored and dead and playing a game for, you know, 2-3 hours, it's not really fun. At least not to me. So I do try to just focus on stuff I enjoy, stuff I want to do. And with that, I feel like it brings enough to kind of keep things going, right? Because at least I'm passionate about what I'm doing. Yeah, this the last month on this account's been because of the 6 million campaign. You guys have seen Bandai tweeting out my my YouTube videos and stuff. That's why I'm doing this alt account, is really, here's the 6 million campaign. Let's take a look from a new player perspective. If they joined during this, what could they accomplish if they were just casually playing the game, as is expected from most mobile players? I don't expect someone to pick up a mobile game and just do nothing but play it like it's a full-time job for, you know, a month. I expect them to play when they have free time, you know? I'm sitting around lounging on the couch in the morning, got nothing to do, you know, play 20-30 minutes of it. In the evening, you know, having dinner, just sitting at the table, just munching on some reheated food, because bachelor life, sure, I'll put in a little bit of time too. Why not? But yeah, I feel like that's kind of the experience that most people have with mobile games, not the, you know, live and breathe it. And that's kind of what I wanted to approach with this specific account when I was playing it, where I tried my best to keep my AP empty, played the game whenever I found myself with some free time, and I've accomplished a very large amount of stuff, I would like to say, with this account during that period of time. And at the pace that the account's going, I may actually finish all of the main story chapters before the Tuesday stream next week, which I think would be really cool, because what that means is a brand new player picks this up and they could reasonably expect to complete the current main story and catch up to all of the current players' main progress in the span of a month. And that's something you don't really hear when it comes to mobile games. Granted, you're not going to catch up to them in PvP, but anyone that thinks that, oh yeah, I'll just start this game and in a month playing free-to-play, I'll catch up to the people that have been playing for 2 years. Anyone that thinks that, yeah, I got a bridge to sell you. But from the perspective of someone that cares about just being up to date with story content, general progression, in a month, that's really good. I don't think I actually know any other game that I'm able to do that in right now at the top of my head. So that's pretty impressive. $80k hard and 6 recycles, get the colony break. Yep. Yeah. It's always that one part, you know, and it just trolls you. So I was really, really happy with the arms and the head for this suit, specifically the arms, because that brought a lot of the stats I needed to the suit. So that was really good to get. Yep. I was tapping too low. Oh no. Okay. So, I think all that's really left for this suit is upgrading the gears, getting the one gear that I'm missing, and then looking for better slot or back slot parts to really min-max the suit a little bit more. But at the same time, don't think it's really necessary. Maybe the change gear. But that's just a lot of scrap. That is a absurd amount of scrap for that. Wings system is brutal. Yeah. No, dude, like, if you remember my reaction to the Wing Zero colony break skill, I still gush about it. If you hop into my Discord on the general channel, you can actually go back a little bit and see a discussion between me and Mana, where we were talking about, you know, kind of what we think the future of EX skills, cutscenes, and stuff should be. I still am all in on they should go more with the colony break style, where it's like cinematic cutscene kind of thing, where it takes you, puts you into a like an event from where that skill comes from, change the background angles that are related to it, and really go that route, because I feel like that honestly brings so much to the EX skill and really brings it up a few levels. And it's so much better than just these generic cutscene EX skills we keep getting, where it's just like, you know, it's the same map, they just have maybe one good camera angle, and then it's a blur, and then you're done, right? Make it iconic to the suit. Make the entire scene around it iconic to the suit. Really make the player, like, if I've watched a ton of a series, for example, and I watch that cutscene EX skill get used from the suit, I should be able to instantly go like, yeah, that's exactly what that scene looked like. They nailed it. Right? That's what I feel like it should be. That's what I feel like would be the best way to go with this kind of stuff. Can I join your Discord? Yeah, man, you absolutely can. I think it's actually in the description. I can't remember. It's been forever since I edited the description of my live streams. Let me check really quick here. Yeah, I do have a link to my Discord in the description, so if you want, you can just click that and join. Go for it, man. It's public, so feel free to share it with any of your friends as well. Yeah, all the games that I play, I have dedicated channels for. Sorry, all the games I play regularly, I have dedicated channels for. Everything else is kind of transient. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue playing it, even though I may be enjoying it. So I haven't made channels or anything for them yet. Nostalgia would be good. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like, for example, let's say I'm using what's a good example suit here? Oh, actually, perfect. So let's say they decided to add the Baku from Gundam Seed into this game. They give it the dedicated skeleton. They give it a cutscene EX skill. Cool. To me, what would make it stand head and shoulders above all the other EX skills? We know that there's a scene with the Bakus from when they're first encountered, where their entire style of combat is outspeed, outmaneuver, and then act like actual four-legged predators and go for the pounce with their beam sabers in their mouth, right? Cool cutscene would be, perhaps, teleport you and the target into a desert-style map. You see the Baku doing its little strafing runs, dashes over a dune, and just goes in for the cut with its beam sword. Just like it did with the Strike. Thing is, the Strike managed to dodge it, only lose a little bit of its ale backpack, and countered with a dagger. In this scenario, it wouldn't. It would just get hit with the beam saber and go big slice, big boom. And that would be something that I would see and immediately go, I remember that scene. That's really cool. It's a low tier suit. I wouldn't expect them to do that because, you know, it's not a, you know, Sokai super limited broken suit I need to use Haro for or anything. But that's kind of what I mean. That kind of experience. You know, maybe add a tribute altered Providence Gundam, where one of its EX skills is the Genesis Cannon. Sure, you hit the enemy, and its entire thing is it lines you up, kicks you into the path of the Genesis Cannon. You see the cannon line up, fire a big beam, and just completely consume you. That would be neat. Granted, not exactly something super iconic from the series itself, but the Genesis Cannon was extremely iconic in Gundam Seed, and I guess arguably Destiny. And that's kind of what I'm going for here. Scenes that, when you see them, really make you think about the suit, the series, things that you look at and can immediately place, right? Like, you have that last scene in 00 where you got Mikazuki fighting in the Lupus Rex. The cutscene skills it got never really reflected that final scene, the impact it brought to us as viewers, seeing the climax of a character we have followed for the last X amount of months, watching this, years even for season 2, right? If they had given us a cutscene skill that brought us into that last moment where we really get to see his struggle for life, I think that would have been unbelievably impactful, and a lot more people may have been wanted to roll it just for that alone. Right? It did bring along the savageness of the suit with what it had available and the very raw combat style, but it didn't reflect the iconic scenes from the series. So some people may have just looked at it and go, oh, that's really cool. All right, and the real super fans would get it, absolutely. But the people that may have watched 00 been like, oh yeah, you know, it was pretty good. They'd see that and be like, oh neat, nice EX skills. It's not really my suit though, but you give them that impact, jolt that memory. You know, it's kind of, to me, I think that's the way to treat a cutscene skill. Turn it into a small cinematic bit, right? Granted, you could go really morbid, right? You could totally reenact the gassing of a very specific colony, perhaps Operation British, right? But I think there's just a lot of potential with them bringing the iconic scenes to life with these cutscene abilities. We know they can do it. It's just, do they want to? Kim Amenity's on a roll. Spoil it for me, boys. How wrong am I on a scale of 1 to 10? But yeah, that's when I saw the colony break skill. That's pretty much what I saw. That my first thought was like, that's really cool, and I'm really glad that they can do this stuff. And then I just kind of got really sad they hadn't done it up until that point. Watch that particular. Yeah, but at the same time, right, Everardo, that's something that I've noticed when I just look at the suits themselves, that they have like a really, really cool design. I'll at least look into the series they're from, and if the general plot synopsis sounds good, I'll probably end up watching it, right? I've talked about this before, right? That's what got me into watching Gundam Age, was the whole aspect when I was doing my original research on the suits. Because if you remember back when I did the Sunday videos, I would always do my research on the suits to the best ability I could, and kind of compile information about them. And during that, when we had the Age Gundams kind of start dropping, I had never seen Age before, but I had been recommended it by a couple of people. And when I did my research on it, I really was like, wow, this actually sounds like a really interesting premise. And I actually brought it up during the first Gundam Age machine that I had covered. And I did end up going to watch it. Although I will say a large majority of that is I've always been a fan of the series that have kind of that chronological sequel style thing where you follow the adventures of a character, and then when their story is done, it wraps up, and then you follow the path of a character that came after them in the same timeline, perhaps, you know, when that character is still alive, in whatever, you know, mentor, they just exist, successor, whatever, right? I've always found that kind of storyline to be interesting just because it's not overused, which is kind of odd when you think about it. But yeah, no, Age was really good, and seeing the machine, the design of it, and then reading up a little bit on its synopsis while I was doing that summary got me to watch it. Granted, if there was a super like cinematic cutscene with a really cool bit to it from the show, and I saw that cutscene, I was like, that's really cool, and I know that comes from the series. It may have got me to watch it a little quicker than what I had. I know that some people have seen suit designs in this and been like, I need to watch that. That looks really cool. And so I can say that it works without the big impactful cinematic, but it probably would help. You're right on that. They've been doing it for ages. Put you both in. Yeah, but MC, the thing is it's the general. What's the best way to put it? It's not just having the poses, like, granted, having the poses is nice. Having the same camera angles is nice. But you need to have the third one and bringing them into the actual environment where it happened itself. I feel like those three things are what really make it pop and what make it good. It's not saying inherently that it's bad because it is lacking, you know, that last piece. But when I see those kind of scenes, it's been what? Let's go out on a limb. Let's say it's been 12 years, roughly, since I watched any episodes of G Gundam. Right? It's been like 12 years, maybe something, outside of me quickly scanning through them for the little video clips that I use during the Sunday videos. If there was a skill from G Gundam that they used, I might not be able to recognize it right away just based on their poses and camera angles. But if they also brought me into the environment, my brain would immediately make that connection of this is from the show, because why else would they have this very clear setup going on here? And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is it's nice that they already have some of the poses and the camera angles, but I feel like that magic third ingredient, our chemical X, so to speak, I think needs to be that the environmental transfer as well. I feel like that adds a lot. Like, environment's a big deal when it comes to some of these big impactful scenes. It's not just, you know, oh, they're standing in a certain location, or oh, they're doing the pose. It also does really have to do, I guess a good way to liken it would be it's the difference between, you know, seeing someone posing at a cosplay convention in a really good costume, like, hey, you know, I recognize that pose and that character, that's cool stuff, versus having them do like an actual professional photo shoot where they have the proper backdrop for it with the pose and the outfit, and you're like, I remember that scene. They're both good. It's just one has, you know, much more impact than the other kind of deal, you know? And people that may have not seen the source material would see the latter and go like, that looks pretty interesting, actually, you know? Cool. That's really all I'm getting at here. Because it's been a long time since I've watched a lot of the Gundam stuff. Like, I just recently, I think it was about a month ago, I did a rewatch of Seed and Destiny from start to finish, the whole thing. And even then, right, it's because I've watched it so many times, my brain's kind of melded all the stuff together for it. So I could arguably see a very cinematic scene in this game and not immediately make the connection between the cutscene and the scene from the show. But if they also threw me into the environment, it'd be a lot quicker to get that relation and be like, oh, okay, I remember this. That's pretty much it. Seed is almost 20 and that's wigging me out. Yeah, yeah, it's not new. All right. Well, how much battery does my phone have? I didn't even check. Oh, I'm still at 70%. We're good. Oh, based on the amount of stamina I have, it's what, like 20 AP now per chapter? I'm on like 14.5. Probably get like halfway, I think, through 15 before I run out of AP. Pretty good, actually. Whoa, that was some weird graphic stuff going on there. What? I think the lock-on death is impactful and be another scene that can make any excellent. Yeah, they definitely could. They definitely could. Right? Like, yeah, you know, some people may immediately recognize the scene if, you know, it zooms into a damaged, you know, cockpit or something and the person does like a shot or whatever. But it'd be a lot more like instant recognition of the scene if they also took the suit and threw it into space for that scene to really reenact like all of it. And that's pretty much like all I'm getting at. Is the current cutscene system isn't bad. It has a lot of the cinematic moments in there, the impactful moments, I should say, and it has the animations and it has the camera angles. But for the people that haven't watched a series in a decent amount of time, you know, they have just passing memories of it. You know, maybe they're not super sweaties that just went and binged the entire, you know, 101 episodes of Gundam Seed to remember this one, you know, 10-second span of something, right? Maybe giving them the environment as well will kind of spur on the memory, because we do best remembering through, what, it was association, was it? So I always find environments are a big part of that association for me when it comes to games. Although it could also, like, definitely be me. I find myself navigating the best when I see a landmark. So maybe it's just the way I'm wired. Maybe I just see those the background from something and I go, oh, I know exactly where that's from. But I'm gonna run out of AP before I hit 80. Big shame. Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean, right, Christian? It's like when I saw that cutscene skill, that was really what that moment where I was like, they are capable of doing this. They figured out a way to actually do this. And I really, really hope that we start seeing it more on like really iconic skills and suits. I would love it if we just started seeing it in general on like all of the suits in the game. Right? Like, I don't expect them to go back and address the like 700 suits or whatever we have in the game, but it'd be really cool to see them going forward add that much more commonly, because we've only had the one, and that was already months and months ago at this point, right? So I really hope that wasn't a one-off. Oh yeah, this is a super special thing because it's the Wing Zero. Cool. What about all of the other really iconic suits in Gundam? Are you not going to give them the same treatment, just Wing? And why Wing? So, we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do going forward. But I do hope to see more of it. We're not counting things like Tryon. Honestly, I never watched any of, like, I watched the first probably half, no, 3/4 of the first, like, build fighters, and I watched that, and it was like, yeah, this is pretty interesting. Maybe I did finish, it was so long ago now, I can't even remember how much of it I watched. I think I did finish the first, like, series of it. Anyways, at the end of the day, like, that's what I mean, is I don't know enough about the series to really see that and know that it's immediately, like, did it change the entire environment with it too? Still gets me when it wiggles its fingers before its dash. Yeah, that was a little creepy. They dropped the ball when they failed to make new EX for alternative tribute suits. Yeah, like, I think what it comes down to is I would be okay with them changing to a slower schedule, like an event every other week, if it meant that the suits that we were getting had higher quality EX skills, animations, whatever. I would take that trade-off every day of the week. I respect that they add new content every single week, and they've done that for the last, like, 2.5 years. That is some serious, like, good job. But at the same time, there comes a point where it's kind of like, you guys can slow down and polish it. We're not going to throw a fit at this point. We have so much stuff to do for at least the people that haven't done everything yet. An extra week off means I can clear free missions. It means I can do more story if I've been putting it off. It means I could perhaps focus on battle circuit content instead of just doing nothing but farming the event week after week after week after week after week after week. You know, give us a little bit of a breather. We got that back, what, year and a half ago when the lockdown started, and they just threw energy refreshers at us just by the boatloads. Right, that was great. Tons of us use that to start farming the free missions, finish our Code Phi suits, you know, to get progress there because we had the excess energy. And then as soon as that went away, we went back to doing nothing but event after event after event after event. Tryon 3 torso brings you full-on cutscene dimension. Let me double check that. I don't remember that cutscene EX. That was the disgustingly long one, right? Tryon 3. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong game. There it is. Oh yeah, I remember that one now. Yeah, the ruined plains with the sky. Yeah, you're right. So we had an example of that already like 2 years ago, and they never followed up with it. Oh, I didn't even take a look at what was happening on here. Oh, okay, we had a boss, that's why. Yeah, that was so long ago that it really wasn't a big deal back then, but now it is. But you're right, the Tryon 3 definitely did do it first. And if that was a very important scene from the series, cool stuff. I never really watched that series. Well, not in depth anyway, so I wouldn't have recognized it. I just remember that the cutscene was extremely, extremely long. Alright, let's try manualing this. Let's see what happens. Alright, let's save all the EX skills for a big boss man. Always default to shot. It is the safe way. Sometimes you gotta take the law into your own hands. I think they're just trying to make sure the oldest players have something new to do each week more than the newer players having the option to do other things. So, it's not so much for the new players. It's definitely, I think this is a benefit more for the older players. So, even now, when I see a new event drop, in order for me to get all the stuff that I want from the shop, I effectively have to use all of my stamina on nothing but the event. Because 9 times out of 10, I don't roll the gacha on every event, right? I sit and I save. So typically I only have the 50% mod on each part. I'll get the token boost, I'm not going to get the event point boost, and even then it usually caps out about 1200 or whatever percent, 1500. It's a good amount. I can definitely get a lot of materials, but playing casually, remember, I don't no life the game. I do a lot of other stuff. It's something I turn on, you know, once, twice a day, dump my stamina into whatever, and then go about my life. Doing it like that, I find that I have no time for the free missions, right? The only time I can find myself doing story missions is when I finish doing an EX farm grind and I have like 20 stamina left. All right, I'll throw whatever's left into the story, do another chapter or something. Or during those times, it's 0 stamina to clear story stuff. Sure, and like a dirty shirt. It's nice having the content week after week after week, but there eventually does come a point where you don't want to burn out players, new or old, and making them feel like they have to come back every week to constantly play your events. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I still participate because, again, I play it really casually. I spend maybe 15 minutes playing this game or so a day because it's got an extremely grindy feeling to me because of always the same thing, event week after week, day in and day out. How many weeks was Abyss break during COVID? I don't remember. Honestly, I just remember it happened at a really good time for me because we had finished moving into a new house and the snow had started melting and we had a lot of little things that we had to do around the house to kind of prep for the spring and summer. So it was like a really good time for the lockdown to kick in. I got to effectively set my game, you know, just pull it out, press a few buttons to get it to, you know, get autoing, and while I'm doing other stuff. And it was really good getting that huge boon of energy refills. It wasn't during something like, you know, my normal school hours or whatever where I would have had to not really play the game or anything. So worked out for me, but I can't remember how many weeks it was. I would say it was probably like a month and a half, 2 months worth or something like that before it all went back to normal. I don't know how many days of that we were getting the boosts though. I didn't really keep track of it. If you feel like you can always go back and start watching my videos from around that time, you could probably find where I start talking about it being over. Yeah, but that's what I mean, MC, right? It's just like, I have nothing but respect for the content drip. I don't know any other game that has had this consistent level of content updating. That I've never played a game that's been able to do this week after week for this long. But I definitely feel like they can stop, dial it back at this point, and just take a little bit to polish, you know? Make the next batch top tier. Yeah, the launch was really interesting for this game. I still remember that. That was interesting. I remember the amount of people that were just trying to reroll to get the entire new Verka. Them was the days. Amuro and the new Verka, getting the entire thing was a big deal. And then, you know, months later we find out that it's not really worth it. Amuro was. He was the best shot pilot for a hot minute. Yeah. Now, did that actually count for a clear? No, it didn't. Okay, so I gotta run that again. It's CTD'd right at the end. Oh! So close. Why can't they hurry up on event welfare alters and more so with standards? So I actually want to go back to the time where we had 3-star suits and 4-star suits in the banners. Like, the only time we get 3-star suits now are when they're welfares or when they're arena suits. We rarely ever see 2-star or 1-star suits added outside of the very odd, oh yeah, we added this suit into the blueprint section for you, right? Which is neat, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know, man, like, I guess I just missed the way the game felt a long time ago, where there was a lot more viability in stuff. Nearly at the start of the game. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Let's go back to the way that the balance was then, where we didn't have all these min-maxed CDR builds. Alright, do I have any refills? I do, but do I really feel like doing it? Not really. Well, it looks like tomorrow I'll be getting my rank up, so that's nice. Alright. Let's collect all of my story clear Haru and see what I'm sitting at. 45 items times 20? Ooh, that's going to be a spicy tamale. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, man, but that's what I mean, right? Is parts were delegated to have very specific attributes to them, effectively. And that's why there's the running joke of, can we please get a good EX cutscene that's not on the backpack? And now look at it, right? Everything is everywhere. EX skills are on anything that has a slot. I'm just waiting for them to start giving it to pilots at this point, right? I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying it's different. I'm not sure if it's a good different or not. I just feel like back when this game was new, it was just a lot more exciting week after week with the banners. But then again, we also weren't dealing with the same level of power creep we are now, where every week there's a new 7-star. Every week, you know, there's new alterations for the 7-star that make them just way too good, so on and so forth. All right. Oh, 1.5 hours, dang. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap up here. I've done my progress update for this week. We've Cleared a whole bunch more story. There's really not much left I can do with the suit besides slotting a good shield into it, which I don't really have for a melee build. I'm going to work on trying to finish the rest of the story chapters before the Tuesday stream. I will be doing probably my stream tomorrow. I still don't know. I'll have to cross that bridge when I get there. It just depends on what happens at the house tomorrow. There's apparently my brother's doing his birthday. You're getting some buds over here for his birthday stuff tomorrow. And the house is probably going to be bloody loud with a bunch of drunk people. So if that's the case, I'm probably not going to stream for rather obvious reasons, because yeah, that'll be distracting as heck. But I'll see when I get there. Anyways, thanks for tuning in and hanging out, guys, as always. I will see you guys either tomorrow or Tuesday for the content stream. Nice chatting with all of you. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. See you in the next one.